Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today is Tuesday. So as usual, I will have a frequent FB live every Tuesday with my follower at my page. So today I will talk inshallah fully English, and today I would like to share about an understanding about research that relate or involve qualitative data. Nevertheless, I will also give a brief explanation what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative data, so you will have a better understanding and be able to at least differentiate what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative data. Alright, so is anybody with me? So I can see. You can say hi or hello or give salam if you like. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Why I want to share about basic understanding of qualitative? Because I want to deliver an information for you to have a better understanding how research work, because it is important for you to understand what kind of research that better suit the usage of qualitative data or quantitative data or both. If you have both, that means you are using a mixed method approach in your research or in your master project or your usually master project and above. Okay. Okay, this information will help you to understand and you will be able to manage your research towards the right direction when you take step by step related to your research focus on how you try to solve a problem. Okay, let me explain how our brain work. Okay, because the first principle when you want to do research and when you want to know either you are doing which type of data are appropriate, either qualitative or quantitative or mixed, you need to ask yourself which type of data will help you solve the problem. Okay, so your problem, your main problem, which is your research gap, is the main reason why you undertake research. Okay, you find a problem which are significant, which are worth to do. Okay, you try to solve that problem. So from that problem, which is the research gap, you try to understand what kind of solution that how the solution you try to find a solution to solve your problem. So those solution needs a data. Okay, in order to come out to the solution, you need a data to process to finally reach to your solution. So which type of data then that can solve your problem? Either it is type of data come from quantitative data, or either it is a type of data that come from qualitative or data. That is the basic principle. It is which type of data. Okay, when it comes to mixed method, although you are doing mixed method, if you do mixed method, so people can do pure qualitative data, they can use pure quantitative data, or even they can use both type of data. That means you are using mixed method. Okay, if you use both type of data, which is mixed method, although you use both, you must have a stand in solving your problem. Which data carry the heavy load? Although it is mixed method, is the data that come from quanti carry the heavy load, or the data that come from qualitative that carry the heavy load? Okay, because you must have a stand, you must have a choice. It's not choice, you must have a stand. Although mixed method, either one must carry a major load and the other one just complement. So you cannot have 50-50, like 50% of quantitative data. Okay, for example, qualitative data is interview and qualitative data is interview, quantitative data is questionnaire survey. So you cannot have like 50% qualitative interview, 50% quantitative. You can't have that, because that shows that you don't have a stand on how actually you can solve your problem. You must have a stand which data that carry the heavy load or major load, although you are doing mixed method. Okay, so that is the basic principle. You choose data that can solve your problem. Okay, it's not the data that you like. Okay, for example, you hate number, so you do quali, but you want to do a research that something need to be measured, maybe performance. The measuration, you need to measure performance. So you can't use qualitative data to measure performance. You must use quantitative data. It's not you like or not. It's about how you're going to solve your problem. Okay? Oh, hai Dr. Cantik, thank you. Cantik ke? I tak semua cantik. Terima kasih. Okay? Alright. You cakap I cantik je, I already lost. Okay, thank you for your compliment. Okay, I think I'm lost. Okay, so it is the basic principle is how the data should help you, how the data help to solve the problem. That is the first principle. But okay, it's not bad. Like in align with that, there are people. It is how our brain works. There are people that like to solve problem or see things by looking or finding explanation. Okay, there are people. At the other hand, there are also people that like to solve a problem or see things with calculation. So that is how people, their brain work. So you need to ask yourself, you are better and like to see things from perspective of calculation or from the perspective of explanation and in-depth understanding. Okay? Ahmad Frazi, kenapa tarik nafas? Malu lah. Okay. Alright, so you need to look at that is how our brain works. So you need to understand yourself. Okay? If this is some tips, okay? But the basic principle is which data that better solve that problem. That is first principles. It's not that you like qualitative or quantitative. Having said that, as a human, usually we have an interest, okay, how we see things. Some people see things with counting, like calculation. Some people are having comfort by looking things in explanation, by explanation, and by in-depth understanding. Okay. It will complement if the problem that you try to solve are better suited with qualitative, plus you are a person that better look a situation from qualitative. It will complement. It will give advantage to you. Okay, it will give advantage definitely, but it's not based on your interest. But if you, so my advice, it kinds of tips. If you don't like figures, if you don't like calculation, for example, statistics, SPSS, or whatever calculation, and you think you are better person that look things, and you can have your focus and commitment on exploring and finding explanation in depth. So my advice, maybe you should find a problem that can be solved, that needs to be solved, not can be solved, needs to be solved with qualitative data. Vice versa, if you are a person that think you don't have so much commitment or focus, because qualitative is like very rich of data, but it needs full commitment and focus and concentration when you do the analysis. If you're not that kind of person, I think quantitative approach with quantitative data is much better suit yourself. So therefore, it's good if you find a problem or research gap that can be solved from a quantitative perspective or approach. Okay. Nevertheless, having said that you want to focus on having qualitative or quantitative data, you can have both as mixed method, but like I said, you need to find a stand. You need to have a stand. Either the large weightage is on the quantitative or qualitative. Okay, you cannot have like 50-50. All right, that is number 2. How you know that how some people, if they don't understand qualitative, because my expertise, although my expertise was in qualitative research, I need to understand also a quantitative research, because there are people that do mixed method. I have students that use mixed method in their study, and some of them also use pure quantitative. So I need to understand. You need to have basic understanding what is quantitative and how it works. Okay. Although I am a qualitative expert, I must have that general understanding. Otherwise, people will tell me lies. So then I don't know. Okay. All right. There are some issue or some problem. There are problems, not some. There are problems that could not be solved by quantitative. For example, the key of qualitative is always about understanding. So you are exploring and understanding. If you use pure qualitative, you must have exploratory and explanatory. But if you have mixed method, a minor weightage of qualitative, so it's okay to just have exploratory, because nature of qualitative is exploratory. However, if you have qualitative as your major, you must have both component in your research write-up, and it will you will need to cover both exploratory and explanatory. Okay, if pure qualitative. Otherwise, to me, it's not enough. If you do research, okay, if you master project, it's okay, right? And if people do not understand, I do not blame people, because maybe because they don't understand, that's why maybe their knowledge are limited, so they do not understand how qualitative data works. If they don't understand, if people don't understand how qualitative work, they can usually give direct assumption that qualitative data is biased. Okay, so do not afraid with this term, because by nature qualitative is biased. So it is in definition of qualitative research, they have value laden, that's mean bias. So what does this bias means? All right, so bias in qualitative means, so please share this knowledge and let everybody know what actually this bias means. And of course, if you attend my class in qualitative research, okay, I do not usually call it class, I call it clinic. Usually, if you attend any of my clinic, I will further explain on how we tackle this bias. Okay, and the bias is our nature of qualitative, because our study, qualitative mean the data is very subjective, and usually most of the time it involves human. When it comes into humans, the bias will come in, because having human factor is one of the element of bias. Okay, but the bias are tackled. So we supposed not to face any problem with this bias element, because they will be tackled appropriately, completely with the structure and the process that I share in my clinic. Okay, usually the detailed explanation on the to tackle the bias, to achieve the credibility of research. I will further explain details in my clinic. My upcoming clinic on the qualitative research and interview analysis will be on 10 February 2018. Alright, so if you would like to come, you can register or put your comment, your email on the comment down below. Okay, so that is how we qualitative researcher or qualitative researcher involved with bias. It is part of us, so don't worry. But if people don't understand, people will directly assume, oh, you are biased. It's not negative bias. It is the nature of qualitative research. Okay. And finally, I want to share, last but not least, you can't force people or individual to like have their stand. Like, it's easy for them to look at things or their view on something or their perspective on something. Either they convert or like to look at the perspective of calculation, that's mean quantitative, or they like to see things from the understanding perspective, that's mean qualitative perspective or stand. Because you cannot force people, because that is their DNA, how their brain works. Some people say if you don't have calculation, it will hard to prove their assumption. That is their assumption. If you have quantitative, it's better prove something, because it's statistical, mathematical, so it is proven. But if qualitative, is very subjective. Okay, if people don't know, they say like that. Plus, if they don't like how things being done from a qualitative, so you cannot force people to either like quali or quantitative. Sometimes it's how their brain works. Okay, but neither qualitative or quantitative should be treated unfairly. Okay, both should be treated fairly. Okay, because there are research, there are situation or problem that cannot be tackled from a calculation perspective. For example, you want to search about maybe a victim of sex abuse, or I don't know, trauma of sex abuse, or maybe child abuse. You want to know how is actually the effect or the trauma after the abuse. So the children cannot really speak or answer the questionnaire. What they do, only they draw. So that is qualitative. Okay, they draw some, not a happy family portrait, I don't know, something like that. But that is the explanation. So some problem can be solved with qualitative, some problem can be solved with quantitative. Okay, or maybe you have you got a research grant that a manager or a CEO asks you, okay, look, I want you to do this, and I want everything that make this company successful in terms of production, because we kind of having double sales from 2016 to 2017. We have like double sales, and I don't know, I did not do anything different about my company. So I want to know, I want to identify. So I want to look at my machine and the production process, and I want you to also look at the communication or the interaction between my manager and also my worker. So those interactions cover the qualitative part, while the factory and machinery cover the quantitative part. Okay, so it solves both problem. It's not solved, but it solves the problem from different way that they tackle. Okay, so I think it's enough. And if you would like to know more, please come to my clinic, or you can simply buy my book. I have a book in English and also Malay. So this is English. So whatever I discuss and I explain, I have in here. But if you could not come to my clinic, okay, the other book is in Malay. This one was in Malay. So the difference is this is with en vivo 10 step by step. This is manual analysis of interview. If you cannot come to my class because you are very far away from me, you can simply also buy my DVD series, which is the training, the class that I do. I give the talk. We have video recorded DVD. You can buy it also. It has both Malay and English version, I think, but for now we do have English. The Bahasa Melayu will coming soon. Okay? Okay, thank you very much BMI Ideal for your support and everything. Okay, that's all for today. It has too many information, so please spread this knowledge so people know that they don't have a bad assumption or negative assumption of qualitative, so both should be treated fairly. Okay, alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.